The years for sure. The confirmed use of Hearn's Hotel as an IPAS accommodation centre caused controversy over the weekend. The hotel is set to house 87 individuals seeking refuge in Ireland. Locals took to the streets of Clonmel to share their unrest about what is happening. IFP member Martin Murphy joins me now. Martin, good morning to you.
Good morning, Fran. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Good to talk to you today. There shouldn't really have been a great deal of surprise about this, Martin. I mean, the rumours were there for almost months now at this point.
Well, Fran, I think the first thing that needs to be addressed is I think there's a lot of people that owe the Clonmel Concerned Residents Group a big, massive apology. They had a lot of detractors, and they have been right about absolutely everything for the last 3 months. Absolutely everything that they said, and they were mocked and ridiculed online for trying to warn people about what was happening to the town of Clonmel. So they need a big shout out. The amount of work that group has done in relation to rooting out the background and the owners and the processes that have happened in relation to what is now confirmed as the plantation of Clonmel.
The 87 people going in there, I heard from Matty McGrath yesterday, we're hearing that their families going in there. I mean, surely, we should be taking solace from that, Martin. Their families going in there.
Heard it all before. We're a boy who cried wolf stage at this point. The government, this is the government tactic. They say it's families. It may even be families for the first week or two, and then the families will be taken out, and it'll be men. The IPAS numbers will tell you what's going in there. The people coming into the country, I think it's still Nigerians and Georgians with some Middle Easterns in the top of the IPAS numbers coming in at present. The majority are single males. So there's not. That's what the government need to house at the minute. It's single males. So there may be some token families put down there for the first week or two, but we've seen the switch and bait too many times.
So you're suspicious of what you're hearing?
I would be more than suspicious. I would happily say out loud that this government has lied to the Irish people on numerous occasions over the last couple of years, and they're quite happy to do it because they seem to be untouchable. And I would imagine that they're lying again.
The contract. My understanding is the contract with the hotel, Martin, is for a period of 1 year.
Yeah, so these contracts get extended all the time. These contracts get changed. It's very hard to get accurate information. And again, I'm going to give a shout out to the Clonmel Concerned Residents Group because the amount of digging they did to even find the ownership of Hearn's Hotel. There was a lot of controversy involved in that with the actual owner through shell companies denying all of this up to a couple of weeks ago. So look, the dishonesty from Roger Gorman's department is everybody knows it now. It's happened in Roscrea. It's happened in Newtown, Mount Kennedy. It's happened everywhere. Clonmel is going to be planted with unvetted males. A town that's already suffering with a lot of other issues is now going to have another compounding issue put on top of it. Fran, I'm going to give you the example. I have a 17-year-old daughter. I would be very, very wary of letting her into Clonmel at present on her own. I can tell you for a fact, after these people go in, my daughter will not be in Clonmel. The businesses in that area of Clonmel are going to be affected. I'm sorry to say it, they are going to be affected. They are going to lose business. I mean, that really is the centre of the nightlife in Clonmel, and you can kiss that goodbye.
Those who would disagree with you, Martin, and your party would say that by making those points to me, you're drumming up unnecessary fear.
Proof is in the pudding, Fran. Just go onto your search engine, use Google or whatever you want. The crime statistics are there. If you put large amounts of males into towns or rural areas, crime statistics go up, and there's no hiding it. And there's also no point in beating around the bush. I've always said it from the very go. I don't mind saying these things out loud. I'm brave enough to do it. This is not good for Clonmel.
Right. You referred to the numbers there, but again, my understanding of that is that unlike other countries, we don't have the data to support what you're saying in terms of we haven't done the stats on the connection between crime and immigration.
I'll give you an interesting little statistic, Fran. It's not really statistic. It's a fact. So we don't report on certain types of crime, and we don't categorise crime in certain ways. So you're well aware that there was an incident, an accident. Now this is a crime because it was an incident.
Well, you're not going to talk to me about something specific now. That's before courts and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, no names or anything like that. But there was an incident in the Harewood Road site, and I decided to have a little look this morning to see could I find any information on it. So using 3 different search engines, Fran, I can find absolutely nothing online news-wise about that incident.
So what's that telling you, Martin?
Well, it's telling me that the media, large sections of the media, are basically on the government payroll, and they're not reporting on issues that are happening. There's a lot of crime going unreported. Now, certain crime gets blown way out of proportion, and other crimes just get brushed under the carpet and hidden. So the information is there. You can get it. You have to do a little bit of digging, and you have to stay away from what would be classed as a lot of mainstream media sources, because the dishonesty in mainstream media at the minute. I'll let you have a pass on that one, Fran. But the majority of mainstream media is not reporting on actual crime statistics.
I don't like being a spokesperson for mainstream media, Martin. The only thing I would say to you is that media, mainstream media, as you call it, would have to be very careful about issues that are before the courts, or that there may be action because of you. I'm sure you're bright enough to understand that, Martin.
Yes, but over the last couple of years, that is now used as an excuse to report on the news. That's cloak stuff. There was times there where journalists would be brave and stand up and report on everything, and they'd suffer the consequences of that, and they'd protect sources. And journalism used to be an honourable trade. It's not anymore, because most, and you can see it yourself with the appointments that are happening. Basically, media is now seen as a stepping stone into government, and there's been huge examples of that from Virgin Media, from RTE, that basically people in these organisations end up getting cushy government numbers, as I call them. So journalism is dying, and we'll say reliable media is also dying. So like I have to get my information from we'll say lesser known sources, and I have to do a lot of digging to get information on anything. It's actually not easy to find out the truth these days, and that responsibility falls, the lack of clarity falls on the actual mainstream media not doing the job that they're supposed to do.
What about the assurances we're getting from the government, where the European Immigration Pact is concerned that is going to be a help in terms of the numbers coming in here and better management of the immigration issues? What's your reaction to that?
Have you 2 hours to talk about this, Fran? Do you know something that hasn't been addressed? That although we've opted into this migration pact, and Europe decides the sovereignty of our borders, nobody's discussed the fact that guess what? Your illegal immigrant doesn't care about European laws. The people who are coming here already are going to keep coming here. We just now have to take an extra 30,000+ on top of that. Nobody's actually addressed that or talked about that out loud. Illegal immigrants don't care about European laws or rules. So if people can find a way to get into this country, the people traffickers must be laughing all the way to the bank. With Ireland opting in, and especially with the swing right that is happening all across Europe. We knew about this. We talked about this. Unfortunately, Ireland is always 2 years behind the curve in relation to these things. But Europe is swinging right. There's going to be huge upset in France, with a lot of illegal migrants looking to get out of France now, with the likelihood of a centre-right government. Where do you think they're going to go? Where's the softest touch in Europe at the minute?
You're saying Ireland, I guess. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely.
But surely you being a member of the IFP, Martin, you must be happy though about the external borders around Europe being more secure through this pact, are you?
But they're not. Like this is legislation that is trying to control. We'll say you know what the real worry about this is, and like I said, the pact should have been debated. Let's forget about how the government actually put this in. The debate for the pact was absolutely so undemocratic. The pact was divided into 7 different sections, and each section deserved a small amount of time to be discussed in the Dáil, so people could get more information on all the different clauses and different aspects to this pact. Essentially, at any point, the EU can now declare an emergency and basically flood this country with people. The fact that that the numbers we have to take is based on our artificially inflated GDP, it also means that we are going to be inundated with people, and Europe is just going to keep sending them, and the government are going to facilitate it because they just want to be best boys in class, and that is the reality. We're facing very, very dark times, and I really think it's time people took their head out of the sand. And you just have to look at the likes of France. Why did 78% of the population come out and vote in France? It's one of the highest turnouts they've ever had, because they've been living this for the last decade, and their people have decided enough is enough. We have a government that's destroying our country, destroying our nation. And they went out and they stood up and they said that we've had enough. We want something different. And centre-right parties are the only ones willing to actually stand up against Europe and stand up against the flooding of Europe.
Martin,
every nation.
They're the choices that the French people made. But when it came to an opportunity for Irish people to make those choices, we stayed with the tried and trusted in the local and European elections largely.
I said, Fran, unfortunately, we're an island nation off the west of Europe. We are always a little bit behind the curve in relation to these things. The good and the bad always takes a little bit longer to get here. And look, Irish people, by our nature, we like to play it safe. I'm urging people now. The time for playing it safe, it's not going to work. You just have to look at what's happening in Europe.
The point was made to me on the programme recently that there is a silent majority out there who thinks that, we should continue to be hospitable to people who want to come to this country, and they feel that they can't speak up because they'll be, they'll be given out to, I suppose, by people like yourself, Martin. So what about that? A silent majority of people who believe that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, so Fran, first of all, I never give out to anybody. I debate people and I have adult conversation. So that's different. That majority is actually a minority, and they're not small. They're very, very vocal. So those people who are more than likely affiliated to an NGO or affiliated to some far left extremist group, they're very loud and they're very vocal, but they are not a majority. They're just not a majority. I'll leave it there before I.
No, I take your point, but I have to point you to democracy. And when the people got an opportunity to vote for somebody like yourself, they chose not to do so.
So I'm an unknown, Fran. I'm an unknown entity and an unknown quantity. It takes time to build a political party. Marie Le Pen is in politics, I believe, since 1988. It took that long to build her reputation, build her party, and to earn the confidence of the people. I have no problem spending that amount of time. I'm thinking in terms of 15 years, Fran. I'm not thinking in terms of one election cycle.
It took Marine Le Pen all that time, though, to make her party palatable to the French people from her father's tradition, and to almost push it a little towards the centre. But
I've described myself as centre right, Fran, to you on a couple of occasions. That is my political base. It is centre right. The far right slurs are exactly what they are. They're slurs. My policies would be centre right, and they align with most of the centre right parties across Europe. Like I said, we gave people an opportunity in the locals. The general election is going to be something very, very, very different. More and more people are waking up every day to the dangers that they face because of our government's reckless immigration policies. And it's not just immigration. There's so many other failings. You just read story after story, whether it be TUSLA or the HSE, or it's just one disaster after another. The Children's Hospital this government are completely and utterly incompetent. And they're also completely and utterly unaccountable by the looks of it, because in the past, and again, it goes back to mainstream media, a journalist would have pulled this government down. A journalist worth his salt would have pulled this government down a long time ago for the failings to the Irish people.
And can I finally put it to you, the protest, just to bring us back to where we started, at Hearn's Hotel in Clonmel, you say, I'm sure your presumption is a lot of people would be against what's been happening there in terms of the 87 people going in there. But it seemed to me the protest was rather small, Martin.
It was a little bit impromptu, so there wasn't a lot of time to organise. It was absolutely pouring rain, so that always keeps people at home. And look, we're also in the height of the summer holidays, so it's a case of a lot of people will be away. The core group, people who've been trying to warn the people of Clonmel about these dangers, they were there, and that's all that matters. As long as you have a small amount of concerned citizens willing to be brave and stand up and speak out about these things, there is hope. Obviously, you'd like bigger numbers, but like I said, one person can change the world. People don't realise this. One single person can change the world, and everybody needs to start thinking like that, because we're heading into some very, very, very dark times. In relation to immigration, in relation to crime, in relation to just basic government failing on basic services. So I'd ask people to start looking for alternative media sources. Start informing yourself, and try and get to the real truth of what's going on in the country. And look, I'll give the example of the French are very good at recording crime statistics. Just Google French crime statistics, and you'll understand why the French have decided to actually swing a little bit right. And that's all you need to see.
Well, indeed, more than a little bit right. In fact, Martin, good to talk to you today, and thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good morning to you. And that's Martin Murphy speaking to us there. 1800